All set.
All right, so good afternoon, everybody. A couple of years ago, I did something similar with Lee, our special guest from Backroads Travel, and he's one of our what do you call it? Our special suppliers, like on the VIP list, if you will. And I wanted to do another session with him to give you guys an idea again about what they do and kind of talks about some new topics and any kind of new trips or specialties that you guys have. And I know I have a couple of questions of my own at the end, but I thought we'd go ahead and dive into it and let you talk about your awesome company. So Lee.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Heather, for having me back. It's great to be here and speaking with everyone again. Backroads has done great business with Heather and her team over the past year plus since we last did our video, and we're seeing a really strong 2024 into 2025. Backroads saw last year about 60,000 total guests. This year, we're anticipating about 65,000. And with that will be new trips and lots of really quality assurance for anyone out there who's been on a Backroads trip or knows the Backroads experience. It's all about quality service and getting the most out of it. And it's great that we're able to see that year over year, especially in some of our scores that come back for our leaders who are out there running the trips. That's been really great.
Yeah, I've always heard nothing but good things about you guys, so it's a proud partnership for me. So I did a quick did some notes. I studied up a little bit to refresh myself, but I don't even think I realized how many destinations you guys were in. So I just kind of jotted everything. Of course, there's Europe. There was like 16 countries and regions, something like that, which was more than I thought. Of course, the
Mhm.
US, Canada, Africa, 6 countries in Africa, Antarctica, Asia and the Pacific, Middle East, and Latin America. So again, that was a lot more than even I realized you guys were involved in. So I want to kind of go over some of that and maybe the favorite or the top destinations.
Definitely, yeah. And I threw some information up on the screen for anyone watching. You can see some of our more fingertip facts, as we call them. So, trips in over 56 countries now. We have 4,400 departures, 7 continents. So, with a lot to offer, it definitely separates us from any competitors out there who may be doing similar things in the space. And it also highlights the importance of working with an advisor, Heather and her team, to be able to find the right trip for you, know all the different offerings that we have. We're continuing to launch new segments such as women's adventures, which we're seeing a lot of traction for. We've also got some great hybrid trips that are a combination of uh, ocean cruising, small ship cruising, and land adventures. And some of the other stats you could see, Backroads has over 10,000 bikes. If you can imagine globally, just Home Depot sized warehouses full of bikes.
So one thing I did want to point out when you hear about Backroads being, the adventure active kind of company to join, you think that you have to be an athlete. I think sometimes my people might think, you're biking and everything and all these miles, you have to be some kind of in shape athlete. But you guys have got this super chill, easygoing, dolce tempo as well, if somebody doesn't want to go on that pace, right?
That's right. And that's a trip segment. Came out just before the pandemic, about 2019. And these are easygoing style trips, meaning that you have about a half day of moderate activity. If they're biking trips, everybody's guaranteed an e-bike. If it's walking, hiking, it's a little bit more flatter footing, easier pace. And then there's a lot of focus on the five-star properties you're staying at, the food, the dining, cultural activities. So you're getting a small blend of activity, but then also really getting to dive into the place that you're visiting and touch those finer points. So we're actually offering those for families now as well. So that segment really has expanded with all of our different offerings, and Backroads having such a great family offering now, over 250 departures. Having that dolce tempo option has been great.
Mhm. And tell us a little bit more about the e-bikes. I know I'm always excited to talk about that because it seems a lot more manageable, for that.
It is. And Backroads, having a custom fleet of bikes, has continued to improve the e-bike that we work with over the past few years. So it's a bit lighter, not as clunky as previous models, and guests do like it. It weighs about a pound heavier than one of our standard bikes throughout the trip. So you have to be prepared for a little bit of extra thrust and boost with that bike. We do recommend, people have some experience just riding around the neighborhood or doing a little bit of road cycling before joining on an e-bike as well.
And you guys also have sometimes different paths, like somebody that's on the higher performance bike wants to go a little hillier or something, and as opposed to somebody else that, or maybe, is that the case, or is it always the same route?
Yeah. Each day you're presented different options, especially for our biking trips. A lot of guests don't realize that they're not follow the leader trips. So each morning you're given a small set of options, whether that's a 10-mile bike ride, a 15-mile bike ride, or a 20-mile bike ride. The 20-mile does have higher elevation towards the end. So you would work with our leaders and choose what route feels good for you for that day. The route gets plugged into your GPS and you follow that at your leisure. So if someone wanted to get extra mileage in, usually after lunch is a really good time. Even on the walking, hiking, if you opt, to keep going, that's nice. And then we'll throw in decision points as well throughout. So maybe if you go left, you'll get an extra couple miles in. If you go right, you'll head back towards the starting point or the van. And then with Backroads, because you're guaranteed 3 leaders and 2 support vans that we operate, if at any time you're feeling tired or thirsty, we've got a full cooler of drinks. You could jump in the van. We'll take you back to the property. A lot of flexibility, which opens the door for active travelers or for people to experience active travel as well, knowing they have that support.
Yeah. I really, really love the flexibility of that between different paths that you can take depending on what level you're at physically. And that the fact that you can just summon a van to pick you up and say, I need some snacks or I need some water,
Mm-hmm.
whatever I
Mm-hmm.
need. And then if they actually want to pause at that point or just kind of want to call it a day, they can just hop in the van and be taken back to the hotel. Is that the case?
Yeah, they'll work with the leaders to see what the best options are. If the hotel's close enough, they could drop back, or they just hang in the van for part of the ride, cool down or whatnot. So yeah, there's always an option, and then they'll see how the group is doing as a whole. Maybe other people are like, yeah, we've had it too, so they can manage accordingly. That's the nice point, is that there's a lot of different touch points throughout and a lot of high service throughout. And so differentiating from competitors, again, that may not have as much hands-on service, Backroads really is a luxury product in that sense.
Awesome. Thank you for that. All right.
Yeah.
So what would you say out of all of the areas and countries you guys are at, what's the top hot ones right now?
So booking a lot recently, and it's amazing to see 2024 filling up, people starting to think about 2025 already. A lot of traction for Croatia and Portugal again. Those seem to be some of the top destinations. Our Canadian Rockies offering, as well as our national parks, and then Provence in France, as well as our Brittany and Normandy trip. That's doing really, really well, and then the Dolomites in northern Italy. Italy in general is a very strong destination for Backroads. We have our cooking class trips in Tuscany as well as Provence. So those are some of the bigger bookers, and then I'm also seeing a lot of interest in our Southeast Asia trips. There's our Thailand and Cambodia trip, which is selling. Oh, sorry, Vietnam and Cambodia trip, which is selling well. Also, our Patagonia trips in Argentina and Chile are doing really well. And always this time of year, our Galapagos trips are running.
Awesome. Well, I think I may have covered everything in my notes. I mean, it makes me, of course, want to sign up immediately. And I think this is something that would just so many people would be a good fit for this. You know, it's not just a narrow field. I mean, there's a lot of people from the Dolce Tempo to the women's groups to families and multi-adventures. There's just a lot of options. So, yeah,
There
I
really is, yeah. And working, you're so knowledgeable on what Backroads has to offer in some of the different trips. So, for everyone out there to have that contact point and be able to kind of go through and find the best trip. We really find with Backroads, it's all about finding the best trip for you and understanding the itineraries, what you can expect. It's all transparent and out there. So, reading through it and you'll have an amazing time and then want to go other places with
cool.
us.
All right. Well, I guess I'll just say to everybody, if any of this interests you, which I can't imagine it wouldn't, I will leave my contact information on this post. So just reach out to me and we can see what would be a good fit for you, your family, a girls group, whatever fantastic group you want to put together. But Lee, I want to thank you again for coming along with me today. And it's always fun to see you and to be on screen with you, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know we'll see each other again soon out on the road. And, everyone out there, thank you so much for viewing, and we look forward to working with you.
All right. Hope to see you soon.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.